recording. So we start Rotary with the four-way test. The things we think, say, or do. Is it the truth? Is it fair to all
concerned?
Will it build love and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? Thank you. And with that, it is the start of September, and Sam Anderson has agreed to do our invocations for the month of September. So Sam, to you.
Let's pray. Gracious God, our hearts are heavy for so many that are suffering and angry in our society today and living with fear. And so we pray that we as Rotarians would be able to live out the banner that under which we proclaim ourselves, service above self, and asking ourselves, is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? May we live those out, Lord, both for those that are in need and hurting, but also politically, God. May we bring peace where there's a lot of argument. And may we be people that live out our values every day of our life. We love you. We ask for comfort for those that are suffering now, and that your hand would be upon this nation. In your name we pray. Amen.
Thank you, Sam. All right, so introductions of guests. Sam, we already had your guests introduced. We passed District Governor Rick Bricker. Is Rick with us today? Do not see Rick. Assistant District Governor Don Peterson, who is with us today. District Executive Secretary Gloria Menk. I did not see Gloria on the call. However, see Don Ryan, our District Crisis Committee representative. So thank you for those who participate at the district level. All right, are there any other guests? Did I miss any guests? Anybody have any guests? All right, seeing none. Do we have any Rotary related announcements? Rotary related announcements.
I remind you that next week is the district governor's scheduled visit coming to our club. Are you preparing for it? Going to do it Zoom? What about your board meeting?
So next week is not our board meeting. Our board meeting is the following week. That would be September 15th.
I understand, but the governor wants to have a board meeting.
All right, Don, you and I will visit. I will reach out to Bob and see what he would like to do. Thank you.
Jennifer, I have something. This is John.
Yes, hi, John.
Tomorrow, sometime after 1 o'clock, we will be having a load of goats arrive at the Brainerd Rotary Riverside Park. And this is part of a grant that we received for the Field of Seeds project with the courtesy and the assistance of Crow Wing Soil and Water Conservation District. We don't know how many goats. We know that they will be at the park. They'll be fenced in by a solar electric field, and they will be there up to a month. And the idea is that goats are prodigious eaters of everything, and buckthorn in particular. And we're hoping to use this as part of our buckthorn mitigation project. And in addition to that, we will have the Minnesota-Iowa Conservation Corps buckthorn team. We think they will be down at the park someday in September. And when we know the dates, we'll do a call to action for Rotarians to show up to help. And in the past, we've had the Conservation Corps do the cutting and do the poisoning, and we use the Rotarians to drag into pile. And then subsequently, we have a burn that shows up later in the winter, typically. So, and Jennifer, is the Brainerd Riverfront Committee announcement, we make that public?
Actually, please do, John.
Okay, well, I'm very happy to be able to announce something that I think is pretty big news. There's been a group of citizens, and this is a citizen-initiated committee that has been working for a number of years, looking at the Brainerd Riverfront and what opportunities we have. And of course, the Rotary Riverside Park is very much a part of the riverfront. Well, this group has diligently worked for a number of years and has come up with a project, and we're focusing on the area right below the high-rise towers and what was known as the school bus exchange lot. And it's a piece of property that now has more or less a broken up piece of blacktop on it and sits empty. And we have come up with a vision where there's going to be what we will call the Mississippi Landing Trailhead. And this project will have a canoe kayak access to the river. It will have a outdoor seating area along the river that will be a touch point to the river and serve as an outdoor classroom. You'll have a observation gazebo on top of the bluff. It'll have an amphitheater. It will have a promenade where we'll be able to do art shows, craft shows, and be sturdy enough to have like food trucks in there to service that. Serve as a trailhead. The Kiona Lakes, what one someday will be the Kiona Lake State Trail, runs right in front of that location and connects to the Paul Bunyan Trail as it crosses over the Mississippi River on Laurel Street Bridge. The good news is that we have been selected for funding by the LCCMR for $2.8 million. And this has to be approved by the state legislature, but the recommendations coming out of the LCCMR normally get accepted. This year, we're a little bit more nervous in that there's a lot of demands because of what is happening in the Minneapolis area as well as COVID. But we're optimistic that we'll receive a major block of funding and this project will get legs and will be happening in the near future. I think that's huge news for Brainerd, huge news for the Brainerd Riverfront, and a real positive step in the right direction.
Thank you, John. And, John has done a ton of work on this committee as well as Rotary Riverside Park, as well as a couple of other Rotarians, Rod Osterloh, Jim Roloffs. All three of them have been pretty actively involved in the Brainerd Riverfront Committee. The request for 3.8 million. The recommendation is for 2.8 million. So we do know that there are going to have to be some cuts to that project, but that's still a, 2/3 of it. So we're super excited and thanks everybody for all their work on that. Other Rotary related announcements. I do have a couple announcements. Jeff Burks is not able to be on the call today. He is staying on top of the peach sales. Unfortunately, I am anticipating that we're probably going to get some bad news as opposed to good news. As you know, there was some windstorms in May that took out some of the peach crop, and now they're scrambling to try to fulfill the orders that they have received. We are hearing, this has not been confirmed, but we are hearing that we may not get our peaches. So would expect us to have a conversation here within the next week about what that looks like and what that means. So just to give everybody a heads up, I think we'll know more here towards the end of the week. Unfortunately, we'll have to figure out what steps we're going to take in regards to that. Any questions about that? As a reminder, if you are not speaking, if you could please mute, that would be really helpful so we can not have as much background noise. That would be appreciated. Any questions on the peach sales? Again, more information to follow. Another Rotary related announcement is I would like to attempt one more in-person Rotary meeting. I thought it went really well at Rotary Riverside Park. And so weather depending, maybe we could do that once again for our September 15th, which would be our club meeting date. And instead, I know last time we did an update on Rotary Riverside Park. This time maybe we'd do a club meeting update and maybe a couple of Rotary notaries, but I think it would be more social in nature than it would be like our traditional Rotary meeting. So I'm just gonna look, I see a couple of thumbs up, just see what people think on the call. Get head nods or thumbs up. All right, so weather depending, September 15th. Hopefully we can do another in-person Rotary meeting outside. Are there other Rotary related announcements? All right, seeing none, I'm going to turn it over to Andy Rangan, who is going to be our Sergeant at Arms today. Andy, it's all yours.
All right. Well, this week we've got a couple of things going on here. So everybody kind of get ready if you're going to do a picture share for Happy Dollars, and we'll get to that in just a second. But we have school starting next week. So for those of us that are fortunate enough to have our kids heading off to school again, pretty excited. The kids are excited. I think everybody would perhaps donate $1 in that regard. So that's a good thing. And then I don't see Jim Roloffs here. I was going to find him $1 for the goat. It sounds like there's going to be competing goat interests in the Brainerd Baxter area now with the goats at Riverside Park. So that'll be exciting. I probably maybe have more goats than he has. I don't know. We'll find out. And then I did note Dave Winkleman should probably pay $1 for the reference to solar fences. I don't know if that's a thing that I'd ever heard of before, but an interesting concept. So there's $1 there. And then with that, I'm going to launch into, I'll do a quick screen share here. Last week, made it up to North Shore, made it up to Duluth, did some hiking. So the kids got to get out and do a little bit of that. So they were very excited. Had some ice cream. You can see there on my one daughter's shirt. We had some ice cream before that. So that was fun. And let me just do a little hiking. And then my son is headed to kindergarten. So he is ready to go. They had kinder camp last week, which was, he really enjoyed. He wore twins shirts every day. Unfortunately, they've been losing, but as soon as somebody would ask him anything about his shirt, he just nonstop. So really enjoyed that. And we're looking forward to, we have, for the only time in the entire school years that we'll have with the kids, they all 4 are at the same school. So we've got kindergarten, 2nd and 4th and 4th graders coming up this year. So that's mine for the week. And if anybody wants to jump in and share some pictures or do some Happy Dollars, they're more than welcome.
Well, I guess I'll jump in. This is Dan. I'm taking some more vacation because after 23 years, I got a lot of it. So last Friday, I was biking over in Duluth at the Mission Creek trails. This time I didn't get lost and actually got back to my car before dark. So that's a good thing. And I'm headed up to the Redhead trails up in Chisholm on Thursday of this week. So there's a couple bucks.
Great. Who's next?
So Andy, I'm gonna share my screen. For those of you who know me, I love downtowns. And so every time I get to another city, I try to go to downtowns. So as you know, I moved my daughter to Fort Collins, Colorado, and this is their downtown, which it really reminded me of downtown Brainerd. The blue chairs, same color as Knotty Pine, some of the brickwork similar to downtown Brainerd. So anyway, that's my share.
Great. Who's next?
This is Rod Rang, and I can share my picture. I was on the bike trail a few weeks ago, and this eagle came flying over me and was chased by a bunch of crows, and it just kind of sat down in the pine tree, so I quick snapped a picture of it.
Great. All right. Anyone else? All right. I think we're good then.
Such a quiet bunch today.
Get them ready for next week.
That's right.
You have kids going to school, they're going to be obligatory kids' first day of school pictures. So let's get ready. You'll be fined if you don't.
So this is Dan again. I forgot. I should put in another $1 for my first day of school. When you're old, you can take classes at Central Lakes College for almost nothing. So I'm taking advanced video editing. And yesterday was my first day of school. My wife took a picture of me and everything as I went off to school.
So Dan, we'll expect that picture next week during Sergeant at Arms.
Gotta share that.
It's on Facebook.
Doesn't count.
I've got a happy $1. I don't have a picture, but I have a happy $1 from my wife who was hired recently to teach 3rd grade at St. Andrews. So that's talking about going back to school. We're all going back to school.
Great. Awesome.
Andy, I've got one late happy $1 here. I decided I'm going to be donating blood this week. I know there's a shortage of blood, and we're very fortunate that we're having a blood drive here at our hospital in Crosby, and so I'm doing that this week. And I hope others do the same thing as blood drives are hosted around the area, because I know there is a shortage during this COVID time. So that's my
Todd, you know, they want it to be your blood. Make sure.
I think I've got a rare blood, O positive, so they're happy.
On that theme, there's a drive right now at the VFW, and I'll be going there at 2 o'clock today.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Andy, thank you. Appreciate it. So with that, we will move right into our presentation today. Today we have Dave Badeau, who is the Executive Director of Brainerd Community Action, who is here to give us an update and a presentation on Brainerd Community Action and all of the fun, great things they do in our community. So with no further ado, Mr. Badeau, the stage is yours.
Thank you. First of all, thank you guys for having me. I am also the liaison for the park board. And I just wanted to tell you guys, thank you for all the work you have done down at Rotary Park. It is very quickly becoming one of the most unique spaces in Brainerd, and we are very, very happy at all the work you've done down there. So I just want to tell you that, and then we'll take that hat and we'll toss it aside, and we'll stick to the task at hand, which is speaking to you about Brainerd Community Action. A lot of people know about Brainerd Community Action. A lot of people know that we exist, but not very many people really understand what it is that we do. We're often tasked with being known for the 4th of July, and that's about it. And whenever we talk to people, that's kind of what we get is, how's the 4th of July coming? How are things going for next year? And it passes over most of what we do. I was actually at a conference where we had a speaker that spoke specifically about how nonprofits take on the identity of their major events. And we are very well aware of that. So we're trying to figure out the best way we can to get in front of people and really talk about what our mission is, what we're looking to do, and then how our group changes from year to year. So first and foremost, we're essentially a nonprofit that is specifically set up to help other people find ways to help their community. So Not everyone has the ability or the knowledge in order to create their own nonprofit, but there are plenty of people out there that have tons of ideas and tons of thoughts as to how they can help their community. And that's where we come in. We are kind of an incubator, if you will, for people with ideas to help figure out how it is that we can connect them to the community. So one of our biggest things that we do is fiscal hosting or fiscal agency. And a lot of people don't know what that is. It's essentially holding the bag. In order to have money come in that is tax exempt or for it to be a donation, you have to have a fiscal host, and that's what we do. And so our identity from year to year changes because the groups that we work with are really the identity of who we are out in the public. So a little bit of quick information, and I do have a little sheet that Jennifer will send out to you guys afterwards. It'll kind of give you a breakdown of what it is that we do and how we're funded and whatnot. But traditionally, about 57% of the money for Brainerd Community Action comes in from our government contracts, and about 43% is fundraising that we do directly. Obviously, with COVID and everything, we're in the same boat as everybody else, and our year has changed pretty dramatically. But we're still working at keeping ourselves on that same kind of track as best we can. In terms of groups that we're working with right now, I just kind of want to highlight a few of them. Beyond Yellow Ribbon, I don't know if you're familiar with them at all. That is a fantastic organization. The Friends of the Brainerd Lake Treatment Courts is another one that we're working with right now. Crow Wing County Food Co-op, which I don't know if you guys are familiar, they're trying to raise extra funds to try and better their movement. They were selected as the Destination Downtown winner and are looking at moving into the old Downtown Art and Frame / Hockey House building. But they're looking right now to try and raise as much money as humanly possible to build that out and have it be something a little grander. And it's a really fun group to be working with. You know, that building that they're in right now, right on Washington Street, they're just bursting at the seams. And it's really fun to see the people coming in with donations and what their vision is to create something truly unique. And that'll be right in the heart of downtown. So we're really excited to be working with them. Obviously, the Brainerd Riverfront, who you guys heard a great update on. So I won't give you too much wording on that, but we've been working with them in terms of helping them move forward with holding the money and that sort of thing. And we're really glad to see that they're taking that next step. And that's kind of, it's one of the interesting things about what we do. Like I said, we're an incubator. So we have a group and they move through their steps. And then a few years down the road, they traditionally move on because most of them end up being successful. The other ones that I'd really like to touch base on just a little bit because they've got some events coming up. The Brainerd Water Tower Committee, the Save the Water Tower Committee. That's one of our groups that has really taken on a huge task. They've got a event coming up on September 24th. It's a fundraiser event. They wanted to do a dinner, like a dinner and a silent auction. Obviously with COVID, that means that things have to change around a little bit. So what they're doing is a to-go dinner. So you come and you get your to-go, which will be pulled pork with sides and fixings, or chicken wings, smoked chicken wings. Those plates are $20 a piece. And then they're having a silent auction where you walk through, take a look at the items, and then it's all online. That's kind of their big push because come October, that group needs to present to the city council and the city council needs to make a decision on what the continuation fate will be for that. So if you guys are interested, that is something that we're, as Community Action, we're trying to help push as much as possible to help that group get a little bit more oomph coming into that presentation to the council. They've done really well. I think they're over $20,000. I think they're around 25, just under, I think, of just raising $20 at a time. They have asked no one for large donations. I think the largest donation they got was a couple $2,000 donations. Other than that, they're selling keychains and t-shirts and these little items to try and show that there's a groundswelling of people and support in the community. The biggest thing for them was they were able to secure a grant from the Minnesota Historical Society in order to get architectural drawings so that they can take it out for bidding, so they can actually give people a dollar amount. And the big story for them is it's really about a roof. It's about putting a roof back on that structure so that there's no more freezing and thawing inside that bowl that's causing the stucco that we're seeing right now. The fear is if the bowl cracks, the entire process is over. So what they're looking at right now is finding a dollar amount so that they can compare apples to apples. It'll cost X amount of dollars to tear it down, which is going to be a substantial amount of money, or X amount of dollars to actually put a roof on it, which I think will be very comparable. So just a heads up for you guys on that one. The other one is the Brainerd Splash Pad as well. That is a group we've been working with for the last 3-4 years. Part of my job is being a cheerleader. It's helping these groups get through the hurdles that they run into. And this is a fantastic example of a group like that has, initially you hit the ground running and you think everything's going to be great and everything's pie in the sky. And then you realize it's work. And they've raised around $85,000 for a splash pad. But after 3 years, they're starting to get really worn down. It's just two mothers in the community that I happen to know. And they really just wanted a splash pad for their kids. And now they're getting to year 3 and they're getting worn down. And I think part of my job is to help them realize, you just got to keep going. You have to realize that maybe it's not going to be the grand, Disneyland of splash pads, but the goal is to get something in the ground. And I think they're seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. They've got a meeting with the council come next week, and they're asking the council for some matching funds. I don't know what the outcome of that will be. I'm very optimistic of it, but I enjoy watching the process that these groups are going through and seeing people kind of come down the home stretch. You get that last hurdle that is difficult. But that's our job. Our job here at Community Action is to help them through that and to help them see what the next step is. And the last one I just want to talk about super fast is Full Tummies. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Full Tummies at all. That is a fantastic group that came together. We have another one in town, the Operation Sandwich, which is fantastic as well. The group that has grouped with us is Full Tummies. And I just want to give them a huge shout out because that is it's a thing in the community that not everyone thinks about. And this is what I enjoy about my job. Our job here at Brainerd Community Action is to help people that see a crack in the system and want to help fill that. And then this is a perfect example of that. This is something where you have a need for children who may not be getting the nourishment that they need during, at this time it was pandemic. And a lot of times it's just the summer. And this will actually end up going through into this school year, obviously. But that's something that not everyone will see. And once you're made aware of it, people can then help to fulfill that need. And this is a great example of what we do. We help the person that sees that crack and sees that need and help them to fulfill that. And I really want to give them a huge shout out because that's something that's really taken off, and we're super excited for them as well. In terms of activities and whatnot, obviously we have the 4th of July this year. That was a heck of an ordeal, obviously, but we fought through it, and next year will be an interesting one as well, I'm sure. But we're gearing up for that and getting ready. Arts in the Park is our biggest fundraiser, and that is coming up October 10th, excuse me. We moved that back. And we're hopeful that we can still put that on. The park board did give us approval. We're thinking there's 4 city blocks. We should be able to space everybody out and make it effective to where we're outdoors. And we shouldn't be having too many congregations of groups. People can move through. And we're excited for that. But the big one that I kind of wanted to touch base with you guys on today, and something that is coming to a close in terms of nominations, is the Distinguished Service Awards. And I don't know if any of you are familiar with the Distinguished Service Awards, but it is a partnership with the Brainerd JCs. We honor traditionally 10 citizens in our area off a slew of different categories. And really what it's about is identifying people in the community that have gone that little extra step. And this year, we think it's so important that we continue to do this. The issue we have is that we can't do a dinner this year. Typically, we do an award ceremony and a dinner, and it's something that we're able to make really special for these award recipients. And this year, we're not allowed. I shouldn't say we're not allowed to do that, but it's probably not in the best interest of the community that we do that. So what we're trying to do is make the nominations the biggest part of this. So we're looking for people to nominate, and I'll give you the categories here, but we can also maybe shoot an email out to you as well. But Outstanding Citizen of the Year, Outstanding Nonprofit of the Year, Outstanding Youth Volunteer of the Year, Outstanding Agribusiness, Outstanding Child Care Provider, Outstanding Educator, Outstanding Senior Volunteers, Outstanding Community Service Provider, which is your firemen, police, EMTs, and then Outstanding Youth Citizen of the Year. And what we're looking for right now is people like yourselves, and this is why it's so important that we talk to groups like you. We need your help to go find people that are looking to nominate somebody. We have a pretty good reach, but we can't reach everybody. And active citizens, as I like to refer to groups like yourselves, active citizens are my favorite people because you tend to know a lot of people. You tend to know a lot of people that are out there doing work and that are out there helping the community. And it's not necessarily that I need you to nominate people, but if you can help us spread the word, the nominations close next Tuesday. So right after Labor Day. And so we're coming up to the end of it, and we want to make sure that everyone that's out there that's doing this type of stuff has an opportunity to at least be in the consideration. And the interesting thing about these awards is it's not just it coming into us and then we're deciding who gets it. We have, for community action, we have 3 of the awards that we have a committee that will sit down and select the winner of our 3 awards. But agribusiness is selected by the Brainerd FFA alumni. The Educator of the Year is selected by Education Minnesota Brainerd. The Child Care Provider is selected by Crow Wing County. It's really the community selecting these individuals. But our most important aspect right now is we can't give people awards if we don't know about them, if we don't know what they're out there doing. And we really need help spreading the word and getting as many nominations as we can humanly possible. Give you guys just a quick how-to. If you're interested, the website, brainerdcommunityaction.org, you can find the Distinguished Service Awards information on there as far as criteria and then how to send in a nomination. In terms of sending in the nominations, you can mail them in, and the address is available on our website, but email is probably the easiest way, and that's just jcs.dsa@gmail.com. And again, that's jcs.dsa@gmail.com. And that's probably the thing that I want to push the most right now in terms of what we do with partnerships is this is such a cool event. And what we do is we surprise all of the award winners at their work or at home when they're surrounded by family and coworkers. And it's really an exciting time to see the look on people's faces and to see how excited they are. Our goal this year is to take that part of it, which we traditionally, take a couple photos or something, but we don't really promote that so much. We want to take that and make that the event. The event is you receiving your award and being surprised by it and having your family around you to help see that. So if we could get a little bit of help with that, it would be greatly appreciated. And with that, I will take any questions that you guys might have.
Questions of Dave. Anybody have questions of Dave?
What is the deadline on the Citizen of the Year category again?
That is next Tuesday. So September 8th. is the deadline. And even if people want to send us just a quick, I nominate so-and-so, and then have us, ask for further details later, that's completely fine. We can extend that out a little bit. We just need to get names more than anything. And then we can ask you for further details that we can share in the process.
Dave, what were the dates and time for that Save the Water Tower dinner event?
So the Save the Water Tower event is September 24th, which is a Thursday. And that is going to be from 5:30 to 8:30 at the Legion here in Brainerd.
And then Dave, I just have a follow-up question on that too. So you'll be able to walk through and see the silent auction items, but then you bid online, and is there a closing time for the silent auction?
Yes, the silent auction will end at 8 o'clock. And that the idea is we don't want people congregating and waiting and trying to go up and sign in. So you'll be able to go through, take a look at them. We'll have one of the Water Tower Committee members there to help people do online bidding as well if they need it. But it's very simple. You just go on through your phone or a computer and bid on it that way. The other idea we had with that is that way people don't have to actually come in as well. If there are members of the community that don't feel comfortable with that, they can still bid on items and make donations that way online.
Great, thank you. Other questions of Dave?
Well, I really want to thank you guys. Obviously, this is not the best way to do a presentation. I'm a guy that likes to stand up, and I use my hands a lot, and Zoom is not good for me. I feel like I'm like strapped into a chair while I'm speaking, but it's really appreciated, and I thank you guys for giving us an opportunity to speak. Again, what part of the tasks that I was given with Community Action is to help people better understand what it is that we do. We're not the 4th of July. The 4th of July is something we love putting on, and we are super excited to do it. It is a great celebration. It's a lot of work, but it's something we're happy to do for the community. But the rest of the year, we are really an organization that is fluid and organic and is really based off of what the community itself decides that it needs. So it's I'm really gracious for you guys to allow me to speak.
And Dave, thanks for everything that you, both with your mayor hat on and you as the executive director of Brainerd Community Action does for the city and for our community. It's much appreciated.
Thank you, guys.
Any last questions of Dave? So hearing none, I guess I'll say to board members, probably anticipate a invite for next Tuesday for a board meeting with the district governor, and then anticipate some kind of outdoor in-person meeting for our September 15th Rotary meeting. So with that, I hope you all.
Jennifer?
Yes.
Can you see to it that I'm included on the invitation for the board meeting?
Absolutely, Don.
I suspect that's the reason why I had trouble a few weeks ago in getting on, because I was not on the list.
Absolutely. All right. With that, I hope you all have a great rest of the week.
Thanks, Jen.
Bye all.
Thanks, Jennifer.